Hello, just gonna post a little update. I found out yesterday, kind of shocking, but they're all together now. There was the mother that died of cancer. Then her daughter died, whom I knew, my girlfriend Jen. She died the day of her mother's funeral, I'm told, unexpectedly. Suddenly found unresponsive. And now I heard yesterday, I was at the local drugstore and where she used to work, and one of the employees came up to me and offered their concern and condolences, having known how I felt about her, the daughter. And they told me that the grandfather now died. And the grandfather would have been Jen's grandfather, the father of Jen's mother. If somebody sees this and wants me to take it down, I will. I mean no disrespect. But, I wonder why it occurred to me why their deaths hit me so hard in particular. Because these people were like the closest thing I've had to a family in many, many years, in a way, because they were a very close-knit group. It was just the four of them. They were from downstate New York, Poughkeepsie area, Newfield. So they moved up here a long time ago in the 80s, and with work and get into the countryside and such, and whatever reasons. And it was the the grandfather, his daughter, and her husband, and Jen and her brother. So they were very close-knit. I mean, they got together Sunday evenings for dinner and laughs and talk, and they got together. I was always there for that, and then the holidays, big dinners and gift giving and all that stuff. Very close-knit family group. They didn't let a lot of people in. They were kind of private. But I come to believe that the mother of Jen, the one that died of cancer in March, she was kind of the center of the family. She did all the talk and planning, and she was all the energy, a lot of the personality, did all the cooking, took a lot of great pride in her. The daughter helped with the cooking. And I'm trying to figure out how to put this in words. But for her to die of cancer must have obviously hit her family very hard. In particular, her daughter, who was... Her mother and her grandfather were the world to Jen. I mean, they were her world. I mean, I was with her for years, but she had a special relationship with her mother, and she really admired her grandfather. Bill, who just died unexpectedly. He was in good health for a man in his mid-80s. I saw him a few weeks ago and talked to him, and I was really surprised how well preserved he was. He was obviously hit very hard. He lost his daughter and his granddaughter within a week, and he was hit very hard with that. He really didn't have anybody left here. Now that those two women were gone, that's really all he had left here in this little town. I mean, they lived in separate houses. He had his own place and lived alone. He's a Korean War vet, by the way, Marine Corps. He's very proud of that. I think that's why we clicked, because I was a vet. I'm a vet too, and but once he lost his daughter, that must have hit him really hard. And then lose his granddaughter, my Jen, was... I don't know, so all three of them went together now. They lost the mother, the daughter, and the grandfather in March. That whole family scene is gone. The father has left. Jen's father's relocating down south to live with his son. if somebody sees this, I haven't mentioned any last names or said anything disrespectful. I don't think anybody would be watching this that knew them. I'll tell you one thing. The grandmother who died 15 years ago, thereabouts, Jen's grandmother, who would have been her mother's mother, and her grandfather Bill, the one that just died, his wife, she passed away from cancer about 15 years ago. And both Jen and her mother had told me that the spirit of this woman had communicated with them, at least on one occasion, quite clearly. And they said they both heard her voice, and they were from downstate, so they had kind of a New York City-ish kind of downstate accent, if you know what I mean. And they said it was definitely her voice and her accent, and she told them that she was doing fine and that she wanted them to move on with their lives. And this gave the granddaughter and her mother great closure on that, because like me, I'm worried sick about the state that it's out of my control. I think it's natural for spiritual persons sometimes to worry about their loved ones when they've died and passed on, and you no longer have any control to try to help them if they need it, except a lot of prayers. And they had those kind of feelings towards the grandmother. The grandmother. You know what I'm talking about. It's kind of hard for me to lay this out. I got to go to work in 45 minutes. And then they heard from her, and they had great peace of mind and closure. Just like I had great peace of mind and closure when I heard from my mother, who died in January 2021. And she also made it very clear that she was doing very well. She made it clear to me, and that, things have to be the way they are, a separation from our loved ones, just for now. Those were her words. And she went on up to heaven, presumably. And she looked glorious, really good. So apparently their mother, Jen's grandmother, her mother's mother, and the late wife of Jen's grandfather Bill, who just died within a week from me talking right now, unexpectedly. God, it had to have hit him hard to lose his daughter, his only daughter, and his granddaughter, and the three of them were so close. I know that he became, at age 75, he renewed his hero status as grandfather to Jen, when Jen and her parents and the grandfather went on a cruise and wound up in like Cancun, Mexico, something like that. It was around like 2012, something like that. And she told me that her grandfather at age 75 went parasailing. You just see like swim trunks, and you get on some water skis, and you got like a parasail, and you take off and fly around for a while. You're towed behind a boat. Yeah, her grandfather did that at age 75, and that really lit Jen up. She retold that story to me so many times, and you could see the admiration in her eyes and the tone of her voice for her grandfather. She thought he was super cool. He was a man of honor and integrity. I will tell you that much. And he liked to talk. He liked to tell stories. When his wife died, he preferred to live alone. That's the way he chose to live alone. But he had his grandchildren, granddaughter, grandson who moved away, his daughter and her husband in this town. But now they're all gone, all. Within 1 month, 1 month, 3 of them died. One from cancer, and the other 2 suddenly, I don't know how. The grandfather was in good health, but I know he had a heart problem too. And Jen, the daughter, was not in good health due to a lot of factors I won't discuss here. But it all stemmed from a car accident she had on her 21st birthday, which had very fateful long-term consequences. So I like to think of them all together Now they're all together now. It kind of in a weird way gave me closure. I don't know why, because I just pictured, well, the mother died, then Jen died, which crushed me and a lot of people. Now the grandfather, who was the patriarch really, now he suddenly died. Maybe they're all together with the grandmother, you know? And I will say that Jen had a spiritual attachment. That I told this story, I clearly saw it come out of her on New Year's Eve 2017, right in front of me, from like closer than here to the camera. And I don't think it was demonic at all. I thought about that. One, it was dressed. Demons they don't wear white gowns, and this one had like a white toga on, and it looked like it could have been a woman, except I didn't see any hair or facial features. It was kind of fuzzy, but I could clearly see the white toga and the arms, you know, and the head. And it happened really quick, and Jen saw it. And then when it dropped down to the floor, when it knew that I could see it, I think it disappeared real quick because they don't like to be seen as a rule, I think. It came right out of her body. Jen was cutting up vegetables and it just moved right out to the side of her, like it's sitting next to her right here. And then I'm sitting there like, across the table, and it just shot straight down into the floor. And Jen thought it was her grandmother because she was bald-headed from the cancer when she died. And then it rematerialized as a very colorful bright ball of light where Jen was sitting after she got up and went down the hallway to go to the bathroom, and it just right in front of me, just boom, you know, a ball of light about as big as my fist, purple, pink, white, green hues, very gracefully, slowly followed after her, and it left a very colorful, like peacock feather trail behind it as it moved undulating like somebody walking, and followed after Jen down the hallway. And Jen said she thought it was her grandmother's spirit. They were a very close-knit group. And I hope they're all together now. I wonder if it's any coincidence or just computer algorithms tracking the things I'm looking for. Where I heard a story of a woman who lost, you know, on YouTube this morning, a woman who lost her mother and was so heartbroken that she actually went into cardiac arrest a few days later from it and died, and did meet her mother's soul on the other side, and everything was beautiful and good, but the mother's told her on the other side, you've got to go back, it's not your time yet. And so she said, you still have things to do. So maybe, you know, it's possible. Jen, I heard she died of a broken heart. That's the official word amongst those that know her. I've been praying for her. Now I'm going to tell you something darker. I'm not going to tell you in this video of it, but I'm going to get around to it maybe. I don't want to talk about it here. But I had what I'm pretty sure was a demonic attack happen to me a few days ago here. And it was definitely, decidedly not anything human. It was extremely negative and God-hating. And I may tell of that story, but I came under a demonic attack. And words of Christ, it went away. But I've been fighting spiritual warfare at a level I never have lately. Trying to reach out through prayers to, if any of these people I've been talking about are in trouble, to pull them out of hell, if need be. I don't think they're in hell. I really don't. But, you know, I became obsessed with this need to reach out and help her if she needs help. I don't think she does, honestly. I knew they all professed to be Christians. And I lived with her for 6 years. And though she wasn't a big Bible thumper, you might say, she did like going to church, Catholic church, and she did pray frequently, mostly to herself. But we prayed together quite a bit. You know, I got to leave it all in God's hands. But the grandfather died. That makes 3 of the family in March. And that's the end of them here in this town. Completely. And you know what? Sherry, the mother, and Jen, the daughter, were great hostesses. They loved to cook big dinners and entertain people with dinners and talk, laughter, drinks, after dinner drinks. And they were really good at it. And hopefully they're doing that. Hopefully they had a great big family reunion soon. And met the grandfather, Bill, who was quite a character, a man of integrity and honor. And I wouldn't say that loosely. That man was all about integrity. Him and I clicked pretty well. Hopefully they're all together now with the grandmother and whoever else and Jesus Christ in a better place than here. This is a hard walk we have here. Hard. And some people break. Well, me, I'm going to wait, whoever, whatever. So I think that's it. That's all I have to say because I have to get ready and go to work. But there's an update. Maybe I'll tell of that demonic attack at some point. I want to try to cover my father, a tribute to my father, whose birthday would be tomorrow. He'd be 105 years old. My father was born in 1918. As of the time of this recording, he'd have been 105. No, he didn't make it that far. But I did a tribute to my mother. I want to do a tribute to my father, and I think that's going to be my next project. I've got some things I want to do. But I'll tell you what, losing those three people, who I was very close to these people, they were like, for a while, my family. That three of them would die like this within like 3 weeks or so. We're only here temporarily. I don't care who you are. Even your loved ones. I don't care. They could be the Betty Crocker hostess. Or what was her name? The Julia Childs hostess. Quite a personality, Quite a personality and a joy to be around. Their time's temporary. They don't stay here forever either. Not here. Thank God. Who'd want to stay here forever? God knows it's hard here. God knows each of us at times have it pretty rough here. So, alright, that's all. I gotta get ready to go to work. I gotta feed the dog and take care of everything. Go work. Take care. Thank you. And God bless each of you. Thank you for your comments and your time and prayers too. Sincerely mean.